Start with Lord of the Lost Barrows, I guess was the correct English translation. It's a level 10 Fiend, Light Fiend monster. And it says, it's a super rare. You can special summon this card from your hand by banishing 3 cards from your graveyard, 1 monster, 1 spell, and 1 trap. And if this card gets special summoned from your hand, you can banish 1 monster and 2 spell or traps from the field and or the grave of your opponent. It does not target. It just says if this card gets special summoned from your hand, you can banish 1 monster and 2 spell and traps from the field and or the graveyard of your opponent. And you can use the effect of Lord of the Lost Barrows only once per turn. Yeah, the usual disclaimer. I found it very powerful because it's generic, just banish 3 cards, a monster, spell, and trap, and there you go. Free banish, not targeting. Very nice. Level 10 Fiend. Can go into Xyz 10 then, or use it just to attack. He has 3100 decay and 2900 death, so why not? Give it a shot. It's nice. Continue with the heretical Phobos Corvus. He looks pretty badass. I got to acknowledge that he's a badass monster. He's a rank 4 Xyz Dark Illusion monster. I guess this is the first Xyz Illusion monster we ever got. It says it's very generic. 2 monsters level 4. You can target 1 effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects, and then if it has battled this turn, you can take control of it until the end phase. And this is a quick effect if this card, the heretical Phobos Corvus, has an illusion monster as a material, and you can use each effect of Phobos Corvus only once per turn. And if this card battles against a monster, neither of those 2 monsters can be destroyed by battle. So the plan here is obviously you just run with the Phobos Corvus in any kind of monster, and then activate its effect, target the monster, negate its effect, and then you can take control of it until the end phase. So kind of a rank 4 big eye, if you want to say like that. Of course, the monster doesn't belong to you permanently, but you can steal opponent's monster and link it away or tribute it away if you want to. And it's generic, 2 monsters level 4, and if it has a illusion, then it's a quick effect, and then you just, if it doesn't have a illusion monster as a material, then it's just a normal effect during your turn or your battle phase. Very nice. Next one, I'm not quite sure about the correct English name. The Windy Eater? No, probably not. This was the worst translation ever. This guy here, the Common Fusion. It's a Fiend Wind. I guess this is the second Fiend Wind monster we ever got in the TCG, besides from Yatagarasu. I guess Yatagarasu is also Fiend and Wind. Anyway, it's a level 6 Fiend Fusion monster, and its fusion materials it needed are very interesting, because it just says 2 Fiend type monsters with the same attribute. So this is a very nice super poly target, and of course with all the new Fiendsmith cards, also a possible target, but yeah, it's better to summon him with super poly. Anyway, this card says if this card gets fusion summoned, you can send 1 Fiend type monster from your deck to the grave, and if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish 2 Fiend type monsters level 6 or higher with the same attribute, and then you can special summon this card from your graveyard. Very nice, always recycle that, and a nice super poly target. For common, not too shabby. Next one, also common. I focus not on the good cards, because everyone knows the good cards from this set. This wouldn't be a point in doing a video if everybody already knows. So the Fiendsmith are strong, and then you know that. Why should I do a video about it if everybody already know that? That makes no sense. Anyway, yeah. Next one, the Cosmic Tree Irmisteel, I don't know. It's an Earth Plant Link monster, Link 5. needs 3+ effect monsters, and its effect says, what does it say? I don't know. No. You can control only one Cosmic Tree Imbecile. Well, that's very good, because otherwise this would be hella broken. It's already hella broken. Every time your opponent special summons a monster during the main phase, open face up, the special summon, you can gain, or you gain life points equal to the decay of these special summoned monsters. And once per turn, quick effect, you can pay life points up in steps of 1000 and max 3000, and this card, the Irma gains that much ATK. So you can pay 3000 and this guy gains 3000 on top, so he has 5000 ATK. And every time your opponent special summons one or more monsters, you gain life points up to the ATK of those monsters. Very nice. Imagine in combination with the Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood, you have him on the field and you drop her from your hand. You get life points beyond imagination, you know. So it's most likely your opponent just skips that turn. Otherwise, you know, if he goes full combo anyway, you probably end up with over 40,000 life points then, and it doesn't matter then if you brick, because you know, a little bit hard to get down 40,000 life points if you're not playing 10 by Dragon or whatever. Yeah, so Cosmic Tree Armsteel, I don't know. I don't even know if this is the correct English name, but as always, you know, we'll see it on the screen anyway. Next one, the most hyped one, and I'm very glad this is just a common, because everyone has now access to this really powerful card. The Moon of the Closed Heaven, I guess. A light fiend type monster, link 2. Generic as it gets, you know, 2 effect monster. And yeah, that little bitch is broken as hell. Yeah. You can target one face of monster your opponent controls and where this card points to, so this way or that way. And if you summon in this turn a monster with link 5, then you can use this monster you have targeted, that this card points to, as a material, and that your opponent controls. And you can use this effect of the Moon of the Closed Heaven only once per turn. Anyway, so the thing is, you special summon her, target a monster this card points to, then you can use this monster this card points to from your opponent for a link summon of a link 5. And then, obviously, the most logical way to do, you special summon out the Underworld Goddess of the Closed World, but because this card says on its own you can use one monster your opponent controls as a link material for the link summon of this card, and with this in combination you can use 2 monsters for the link summon of Underworld of the Closed World. And I guess I don't have to explain you why this is broken. You know, this makes Kaijus and Lava Golem, sadly, absolutely obsolete. Absolutely obsolete, you know, that's a crazy rhyme. And it's hella strong. You know, I just don't know what to say about it anymore. So, this is crazy. And this card costs nothing thanks to the Rarity Collection, so beautiful. Just beautiful. Alright, so only featured monsters right now. We head on to a trap, to the Cubico, or Cubico, however you want to pronounce that. It's a permanent trap and also a monster. It's more or less like the Iron Scrap Scarecrow, you know, from back in the day. This card says, summon this card as special summon as an effect monster, and it's Fairy Earth, level 2, ATK 0, defense 0, with the following effect, and this card is also treated as a trap. Once per chain, when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, or an effect that targets one or more cards you control, quick effect, you can set this card back into your spell and trap zone, and if you do that, you negate the effect of your opponent. And then if it was a monster effect, and the monster had the highest ATK on the field of your opponent, then you can return that monster back to the hand. So, you know, this is basically a once per turn monster negate, or a targeting negate every turn, you know, because you special summon it, and you wait until your opponent does anything, you negate it, and if you negate it, you have to set it back in your back row, you know, and then the next turn it's active again, so you can negate it again. Very cool. And if you negate the monster effect and the monster has the highest ATK on the field of your opponent, then you can send that monster back to your opponent's hand. Cool. I find it really cool. You know, little nice, cute tech card. The Kubico, however this is pronounced. Yeah, probably we should go with a spell card now. Huh? What do you think? Spell card. It is called a spell card. Spell card Monster Reborn. This is, long story short, it's Monster Reborn as a quick spell. That's basically it. You know, in detail it says target one monster in Ether Graveyard, summon it as special summon it onto your side of the field, but for the rest of this turn it cannot attack and no player can activate its effect, and you can only use this effect once per turn. Anyway, but you know, it's basically a second copy of Monster Reborn in your deck, and this is not limited right now. It's once per turn. That's the only downside. You know, Monster Reborn is not once per turn. That's why it's limited to one. It's, yeah, but it's cool. You know, just free special. Why not? Next one, probably one of the coolest gimmick cards, and I'm not talking about Gimmick Puppet. No, I talk about, I don't know how this is named in English. In German, it's Besi. It's just Besi. Oh, Besi. Why this one? You may think, oh, come on, you know, don't fool us around with that crap. But don't underestimate Besi. Besi is a little, was a little bitch. It's a spellcaster, tuner, light, level 2. And basically it's a free special from hand, you know. It says cannot be used as synchro material except for the synchro summon of a monster of level 8 or lower. You can reveal this card, Besi, and any other monster from your hand, and then you can special summon one of those two revealed monsters and the other monster get banished. And until the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck except synchro monsters, and you can attack only with one synchro monster this turn. Turn 1, you don't care about that, you know. It's a free special from hand, you know. You basically you can reveal these two, you know. And funny enough, this would actually also trigger then, because this card says if this card gets special summoned from your hand and Besi special summons from your hand. So you don't even have to banish a monster, a spell, and a trap, you know, from your grave to special summon this guy from your hand. You can just use Besi's effect, reveal those two, special summon the Lord of the Lost Barrows, and then he even gets its effect because it says if this card is special summoned from your hand, which it does. You know, for example. So don't underestimate our little Besi. You know, he knows how to play. He knows. Next one, the pendulum monster. Pendulum monster. Throw it in the trash. No, this is actually a good pendulum monster, which is good on its own. You know, it doesn't need anything else to be good. Yeah, well, it needs. No, actually not. It is good and it on its own, but it gets even better if you combine it with trap cards. Vulmina, the statue of the sacred dragon, probably. It's a light dragon pendulum, pedal scale 1. If this somehow someone does care about that, we don't care about it. The monster effect is, if once your opponent declares an attack, you can place Vulmina back into your penalty zone, and if you do that, you can send the monster that attacked back to the hand of your opponent, and you can use this effect of only once per turn. And if this card in the monster zone gets destroyed, you can place it also in the pendulum zone. And the pendulum effect is also very nice, actually. If one or more monsters get special summoned through your trap effect, so something like Call of the Haunted, for example, except during the damage step, you can target one card on the field and send it back to your hand, and then you can special summon this card from your pendulum zone again, and then you can use the monster effect again, you know. And if you use the monster effect, this card gets back in the pendulum zone. And then you can use the pendulum zone effect again, you know, and special summon it into the monster zone. And so on, you know, this is probably an infinite loop. Of course, it's once per turn. We have to, we don't forget that. But anyway, you know, basically, if you play it right, and this is once on the field, it stays on the field. And, you know, you can always give back monsters or cards from the field to their hand and special summon it, and so very cool. And the last one, also a spell card. Spell card again. It's called spell card. Spell card, the Soul Exchange. You know, this is the retain of the Soul Exchange. You know, the OG Soul Exchange from the starter deck Kaiba and Yugi. Basically. Yeah, just read through it. After this effect resolves, you can instantly summon one monster as a tribute summon, and you can use monster for the tribute summon your opponent controls for it, even if you don't control it. But the monster you tribute summon with this card cannot be tributed this turn. And if this card gets sent from the fields to the grave, then your opponent can use the effect of this card too. So basically, you tribute summon a monster using monsters from your opponent, but then the monster you tribute summoned cannot be tributed. And then if this card goes to the grave, then your opponent can also use this effect of this card again. If you don't want your opponent to use this effect, you just play something like Macrocosmos and it gets banished, and then your opponent doesn't have the effect, because it doesn't get sent to the graveyard. It gets banished. Yeah, we have a similar card like that. That's Soul Crossing, but this works only for Divine Beast monsters. This works for every type of monster. So, and you know, what kind of decks does tribute summon nowadays? Except probably Flu Wanderies. This would be pretty bad if you play that against Flu Wanderies. But every other deck, you know, who does tribute summon? Who does that? So, yeah. Could be a nice little tech card, you know. Yeah. Nothing more to say. Try these cards out. You know, these are more the underdog cards, you know, not everybody talks about. But I still think these are strong, and for fun decks or more rogue kind decks, okay, except this one, okay, this also gets talked about a lot. It's just effect, it's crazy strong for just being a common deck. So, before anybody says, you know, I know you Yugi players. As soon as make any type of mistakes, you hear and say, oh no, that's not true. That's good, you know, because I don't want to spread false information among the community. Anyway, I'm talking too much bullshit. Thank you very much for watching. Try these cards out, and until next time, goodbye.